Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, commonly known as Spurs, is one of the oldest football clubs in England. In their early success, Spurs won their first major trophy, the FA Cup, in 1901, becoming the only non-league team to achieve this since the formation of the Football League in 1888. Tottenham continued to have lots of success through the 1900s, winning the European Super Cup, winning the First Division and FA Cup multiple times. However, in the more modern era, Tottenham has been consistent in the Premier League, showcasing a lot of attacking football and producing or signing world-class talents like Bale, Harry Kane and Heung-min Son. The most recent defeat for Tottenham in a cup final was the Champions League against Liverpool. Something that Tottenham have not done in their recent history is win lots of trophies, and that is where Big Robbo, in this mini-series, 10 seasons, 10 episodes, I am going to try and win as many trophies with Spurs as possible. This series will be 10 episodes and 10 seasons, with each season going in depth on how we progress, how we do tactically, and all the individual and team awards throughout the season. I hope you boys are going to enjoy this final mini-series for FM24. Leave a like and subscribe. Comment down below how many trophies you think I can win in this FM mini-series, spurring to trophies in this final 10-season rebuild on the Big Robbo channel. Let's get into this. So boys, before we start in our transfers and getting into the grips of this Tottenham Hotspur first season, I needed to create a tactic that had attacking wing-backs, a 4-2-3-1 system that fits the current mould of Tottenham players, with having Son as an inside forward, joining Solanke up top with Maddison and Kulusevski being the more creative outlets. In possession, we're looking to be high-tempo football. We're looking to go slightly shorter with a higher tempo. We're going to be passing into space and overlapping on them wings, gegenpressing to win that ball back with a high line. I think it really suits the energy within this Tottenham squad. But let's go and do some transfers as well before we start our season to make this team as ready as possible for a top 4 charge. Before we jumped into our transfers, one thing that I really wanted to do was start to clear out the deadwood, and we were having offers for people like Tyrell Ashcott, who I've never heard of in my life, and Jed Spence for 6.5 million is taking the absolute George Michael, so we accepted both offers straight away. Now moving on to the transfers, as you can see, we only had 5 million in the transfer budget with a 2.8 million wage budget. I've been scouring the loan list looking for some talents that I could bring in, like Ansu Fati, Adingra, Pavlovic, players that I'm all contemplating considering the low transfer budget in this first season. And speaking of loan signings, the first loan signing we were bringing in is Adingra, covering most of his wage, paying 1.5 mil over the season for a player who can play on both wings and be an inside forward and a threat from them wide positions. But Simon Adingra weren't the only loan coming through the door, because Arda Güler joins on loan from Real Madrid again for that 1.5 million fee to be a backup to James Maddison this season. Full of technical ability, mental ability, this is going to be a great signing, only covering 90% of his unused wage and 60% when he plays in the month. And finally boys, the last loan signing to cover in the DM position, we are going to sign Alexander Pavlovic from Bayern Munich. He's a defensive midfielder that's brilliant technically, mentally and physically, 6'2" to suit the Premier League. He is bow-footed, and for just 1.5 million across the season and £12,000 per week, we are definitely going to accept this. And also in the background, we are working on improving our scouting system and our coaching system at Tottenham Hotspur. And just like that, a first season's transfer window was finished and the season had rolled around. In our first fixtures, we had some difficult games against West Ham, Chelsea, Liverpool, but then some easier games coming up against Southampton and Nottingham Forest. This was my best 11 entering the West Ham game at home. Obviously at right back we have Dragusin, as Pedro Porro picked up an injury and will be out for the next 9 days and 3 weeks. Also Heung-min Son starts up front as Dominic Solanke again has picked up an injury but should be back in training soon, ready for Liverpool. Now with the injury to Porro, I went looking for a right back and I could not believe my luck when Denzel Dumfries for a fee of 7.2 million became available as a fringe player at Inter Milan. We're going to adjust the budget and definitely get him in our first team. He's an amazing right back with unbelievable physicals that will hopefully help carry his mediocre technicals and mentals. And boys, in August we had 2 more difficult fixtures like we mentioned. We had Chelsea away where we drew 1-1 and Liverpool where we drew 2-2, with James Maddison getting 3 goals in his last 2 games from the cam position. And amazingly boys, in the first game of the season we were 3-0 winners at home over West Ham, keeping a clean sheet and scoring some amazing goals, with Udogie cutting back to Kulusevski there, showing the importance of our system with the fullbacks. And in the 51st minute, Dragusin whips in a ball, Kulusevski picks up the pieces to knock down to Heung-min Son, who's playing up front today, to make it 2-0 against West Ham. And the scoring did not stop there, as in the 59th minute, Udogie has got the ball on the left wing, driving, then fullbacks getting forward again, a dink ball to the back post where Kulusevski heads home to finish a man of the match performance, getting 2 goals and 1 assist to Heung-min Son. Now in September, Tottenham Hotspur started as they mean to went on, getting 6 out of 6 wins from all of our fixtures in September. The biggest win coming at Manchester City as James Maddison wraps the ball into the top right to win 3-2 on the day at home. And as you can see from our September fixtures, we were rampant in the Premier League and in the Europa League, winning all of our games, scoring multiple goals per game as well, with lots of different goal scorers in the team. But as you can also see, in October, we were absolutely rampant as well, beating teams, scoring 4 goals against Victoria Pleasant, 4 goals against Leicester, an unfortunate loss to Newcastle away in a tough game, losing 4-3, but then beating Slavia Bratislava 3-0 and Bournemouth 3-0 in the league as well. As of September and October, we are 3rd in the league with Tottenham Hotspur, just 1 point off the top, and topping our Europa League group with ease. But we have a North London derby with Chelsea away.
Some people consider Chelsea North London.
North London.
West London.
North London.
West London.
North London.
West London.
North London.
Basic English geography skills on the streets of Salford. Together, we can do this.
In the Carabao Cup. Moving into the month of October, we went to Chelsea away in the Carabao Cup and indeed defeated them 2-1, with Solanke getting the all-important goal with a great half volley off the post. But also in November, we hosted Manchester United at home and we were leading 2-1 until the 94th minute, where an old Casemiro darts through and rifles one into the top right to get Man United a draw in the 94th minute, and that is 2 points dropped for Tottenham Hotspur in a game where we should have won. However, at the end of November, we secured Europa League next round qualification through a 5-1 win against Olympiacos away from home, with a Sar screamer sending us through in the Europa League. So when we take everything into consideration, from the month of November beating Chelsea in the Carabao Cup, a win against Palace in the league, drawing to United, losing a weird game against Bratislava, losing to Fulham, but also then beating Olympiacos, a mixed month compared to our starting form, but still keeps us in great stead in the Premier League and Europa League. So boys, I'm going to join you on the 13th of December, where we've just had some amazing news. Every FM player knows you want to see that 5-star excellent intake coming through, and we have had it in season 1 of this 10-year rebuild with Tottenham. A terrific group of players is coming through. We are going to be coming back in March and seeing the talents that come through. Because of the length of this series, these players that come through this youth intake could be in the first team one day. Let's hope for some top talents. Now boys, December in the Premier League is always tough with the amount of fixtures. We had a Carabao Cup quarter-final where Sar again from distance won us the game 1-0 against rivals Arsenal. As you could see in this game, we stopped Arsenal having any shots on target, with also having a Pedro Porro red card in the 56th minute. We defeated the Gunners 1-0 to send us to a Carabao Cup semi-final. But if we quickly skim through the December results, we've had some difficult games, having a 0-0 to Everton, losing to Arsenal in the league 1-0 with a Trossard 90th minute winner, a 0-0 to Ipswich at home, which is very disappointing, but then we came into form against Victoria Pleasant, winning 3-0, beating Wolves 4-0 away. Of course, the game we have just seen, beating Arsenal 1-0, a draw 0-0 to Brighton, a 2-1 defeat at Villa Park to an 87th minute penalty. But more importantly boys, at the end of the month, we beat Chelsea 2-1 at home, again beating the teams around us. And at the halfway point of this first season, we sit in 5th place in the Premier League and also topping our Europa League group, with a Carabao Cup semi-final up to come against Aston Villa. Also boys, remarkably, out of nowhere, and as you can see the editor is penciled out, so don't try and say it was editor, we have for some reason got 88 million in the transfer budget. If we show you the squad also halfway through the season, Solanke on 13 goals, Maddison on 11, Kulusevski with 7 goals and 9 assists. Young-Min Son having a difficult season, could be someone we look to sell in January to make the most profit possible. We are now going to scour through the transfer market and try and find some players that could come into Tottenham Hotspur to improve this team and push us for a top 4 finish in the Premier League. Before we carry on the season boys, let's have a chat about all of the transfers we made so we know exactly what is going on at Tottenham Hotspur in season 1. Of course, we had the 3 loan signings of Adingra, Gula and Pavlovic, just providing me some squad depth in case of any injuries throughout this first season. But to sign Denzel Dumfries at 28 years old for just £8 million was such a good signing. I'm so excited to see what he can do throughout this first season. Giving Porro competition at right back as well, because Tottenham don't actually have any covering right back who's anywhere near Porro's qualities. Hopefully him and Denzel will have a real war this season trying to get that first place spot. And on the outgoings boys, Tottenham have a lot of talented youngsters, starting with Lucas Bergvall, who we have loaned out to Cordoba over in the Spanish League. Hopefully he can have a good season of development. He's got high determination, he's a model citizen personality, he's got everything that makes up a good wonder kid. We also loaned out Archie Gray for first team football at Derby, one of the best teams in the Championship. Hopefully he will play the full 46 game season. He's a player that could come into this 10-year rebuild a lot later down the line and could be a starting player for us, so hopefully he has an amazing year of development. The 2 outgoings that we mentioned were Jed Spence and Ashcroft, just some players who were backups or not really good enough for the first team. And finally boys, I took a risk with this one, but we loaned out Wilson Odobert to Juventus to be a starting player in the Serie A. I think if he continues to start a lot of games like he has been doing, as you can see, he's played 4 games already in the league, picking up an assist. The development he could have at Juventus could come in to be a Heung-min Son replacement maybe, or to cover for positions like Son, could cover on the right wing as well, as he is natural on both wings. He could be such an important player in this 10-year rebuild, but we need this loan deal to go well. Now, boys, that is all the transfers done. We are going to crack on with this season now. If I was to pick my best 11, it would line up like this. It definitely wouldn't be 4-string goals. We're going to put Vicario in, Porro, Romero, Van de Ven, Udogie, Bissouma and Sarr in that midfield, Kulusevski, Son, Maddison and Solanke. Now, it is actually just the Spurs team from in real life, but if you look at the bench now for the backups, we've got Johnson, Dragusin, Adingra, Reguilon, Arda Güler, Pavlovic, Davis, Bentancur. We've got Timo Werner still here. We've got Denzel Dumfries ready to play. I feel like what we have done is just gave Tottenham's squad a real good sense of depth and quality in the backup position. So hopefully this Tottenham starting team plus all the backups can take us at least to a European push in this first season. Let's have a look through some of the highlights of this first season with Tottenham Hotspur. So boys, we are midway through January and I'm trying to work some of the money that we were given. The first signing I'm going to bring in is Amad Diallo from United. With 6 months left on his contract, we are going to sign him for a fee of £13 million. We all know Amad Diallo in real life. He's one of the most promising wingers in the Premier League. He's going to join Tottenham. I'm going to try and loan him out for the last 6 months, make sure he gets that first team football he hasn't been getting at United, and we're going to see next season if he can be part of our squad. But boys, the big money signing we are bringing in on that left wing position is Amine Gouiri. The left winger comes in. He is an inside forward dream, and looking at his season so far, he's on a 7.3 average rating over at Rennes. I think in terms of a Heung-min Son replacement at this point of the rebuild, this is the best we are going to get. A natural finisher, pacey, he's got flair, good off the ball. He's a good passer of the ball as well. He cuts inside from the left wing, gets into the opposition area. This guy is going to score so many goals from that left wing and potentially be that Heung-min Son replacement. We have spent in January £42 million with 15 million in instalments. I don't actually think that's too bad for a January fee, but of course we are going to accept that. And Amine Gouiri joins Tottenham Hotspur. Also, boys, in January we signed talented England left back from Ipswich, Leif Davis, for 24 million to provide cover for Destiny Udogie on that left hand side. Leif Davis being very talented on the ball, a great cross of the ball, a great set piece taker. He suits our attacking wing back style, taking us to our last signing in January. And now returning to league action, we lost 1-0 at Anfield to a Trent Alexander goal in the 18th minute. A game where both sides performed very, very poorly. And also before the end of the window, we managed to get Christian Mosquera on a free transfer, joining in the summer of the second season. An amazing centre-back on the game, a great wonder kid. Physicals are immense, technicals are also looking good. This guy could be a great centre-back for the future. But boys, a game we did not play poorly in was the Carabao Cup semi-final second leg, where we defeated Aston Villa 4-2 at home. This means we progress into the final of the Carabao Cup, and playing in the background now is the highlights and the goals from the game as Porro bombs on from right back and scores in the bottom left corner. Another highlight begins with Porro on the ball, starting again the attacking right back as he whips the ball in, and Richarlison at the back post climbs highest to make it 3-0 to Tottenham. And again, boys, for our fourth goal, it is again Pedro Porro down that right hand side, so influential in our system, into Brennan Johnson with a great finish to make it 4-0 at the 41st minute. And what happened at this point, boys, is that in the stands I was offered £100 million into my transfer budget if I let Watkins get a goal. So I thought, yeah, go on then. But that is all she wrote. And Tottenham Hotspur, in the first season, in a rebuild where we are trying to win trophies, book our place in a Carabao Cup final. And it is a final where we will be playing the league's best, Manchester City. Okay, boys, you join me back here before our Carabao Cup final against Manchester City at Wembley. This is the first chance in the rebuild we have of winning a trophy to add to our Tottenham Hotspur trophy cabinet. This is the team we are lining up with Amine Gouiri, Solanke, Johnson and Maddison leading the line, with Kulusevski injured on that right wing. The brilliant midfield duo of Bissouma and Sarr. Udogie and Porro flying forward on them fullbacks, with Van de Ven, Romero and Vicario in defence. This is our first chance to win a trophy. We're going to live commentate this game for you boys. Let's see what we can do against Manchester City. Come on, Tottenham! Now, the teams have warmed up. Manchester City's team: Haaland, Foden, Silva, De Bruyne, Gundogan, Rodri, Ake, Gvardiol, Diaz, Walker and Ortega in there. A strong City team. We all know what to expect from Man City on FM. We've got to worry about our own job here. Pump them fists. The fans deserve a trophy. They do. They've waited enough years. No reaction to my team talk. Love to see it. Let's get into the game. As we look to close down Kyle Walker here. Good possession from Manchester City, keeping the ball earlier in this game. A risky ball into De Bruyne pays off. Ake now looking to bring that ball out into Foden. Johnson picks up the ball, but De Bruyne takes over. De Bruyne coming down the line. Sarr makes a great tackle. Back into De Bruyne. Bernardo. An absolutely dreadful start. Sarr's clearance is nowhere near good enough. Ruben Diaz on the edge of our box for some reason finds De Bruyne, who has the vision for Bernardo Silva to strike first time into the side netting. I mean, it's a brilliant goal. Not an ideal start, but there's a long way to go, boys. Keeping the ball away. Johnson now again on the ball. Porro's made a run into... Ooh, Porro made a great run at right back there. Basuma now. Maddison. Solanke. Great ball movement. Solanke on the ball. Going all the way. Walker tackle. Potential penalty shout here for Tottenham Hotspur, and it's a penalty to Tottenham Hotspur. Solanke now, our top scorer for the season. One of the biggest penalties of his career. He steps up. Come on! Tottenham 1-1 with Manchester City. Solanke with his 14th goal of the season. It's a massive penalty in a big pressure moment. Okay, boys, the half-time whistle has been blown. It is Tottenham 1, Man City 1. A cagey affair. Just 7 shots in the half from both teams. Man City dominating possession, as you expect. We need to rear these boys up in this second half. Now, I'm looking at the team sheet here, and I'm seeing on that right wing, Brennan Johnson on a 6.4, and I'm not liking the look of it. I think I'm going to bring on Son on the right wing, as he is both-footed, to come in. The captain is coming on for a big 45 minutes for Tottenham. Let's go. Okay, now on the ball. A lot of confidence in that City back line, building out from the back, which they've done brilliantly again. Sarr gets over to De Bruyne. It's a great challenge. Can Tottenham turn this into attack? No, we can't. Rodri in that midfield. So good for Man City, picking up the loose ball. Foden now on the ball. Into Rodri. Gvardiol now. You almost feel like something is always coming with Man City as our left back falls asleep. Foden's in. Vicario with the save. Vicario spills the ball straight back into Foden's path. It's a terrible goal to concede. Rodri does brilliantly. The through ball is perfect. Foden goes through. You've got Vicario has got to hold on to that ball though. City is patient as ever. The build-up is just so hard to play against. De Bruyne now on the ball, still with a knock. Foden in acres of room. Porro with defending to do. He gets skinned so easily. Ruben Diaz, De Bruyne, Haaland. And that is 3-1 Manchester City. They're just too good at this point. Pedro Porro at right back cannot contain Phil Foden in the slightest. We are going to go attacking. We're going to bring Porro off, bring Dumfries on at right back. Porro has been absolutely mauled this game. Arda Güler is going to come on in that number 10, and we are going to go to a 3 up front system. We are going to absolutely press that top half of the pitch. We are going to hopefully win the ball back from their build-up. We've got 20 minutes to get 2 goals. We've got to go for it here. We need to get that ball into the front men as soon as possible, not dilly-dally at the back. Basuma with a great run through. Guri's there, Güler. Basuma now again. Son is on. Son takes the ball. Great touch. Good to keep the ball there. Son again. Great touch out wide into the box. Güler! Do not write us off yet. The substitution, Güler comes on. An instant impact with a goal to make it 3-2. Another substitution is going to be made. We're going to bring Richarlison on, and we're also going to take Basuma off for Bentancur. And hopefully these last 2 subs can give us some legs. The clock is ticking down. The 87th minute. We have got to throw the kitchen sink at them now. Get stuck in possession. Be a lot more direct. Hit early crosses. Benacer picks up the ball. Walker. Great save from Vicario onto the post. Maybe keeping us in the game. And Sarr just clears terribly though. Walker again on the ball. Not good enough from Sarr again, just booting it like he did for their first goal into no man's land. De Bruyne. And that is 4-2 to Manchester City. Again, Sarr brilliant on our second goal, but again, his clearance, panicking at the back. And if you give De Bruyne that much space on the edge of the box, you know where the ball's going. And unfortunately, boys, today, Tottenham Hotspur will not be lifting their first trophy, the Carabao Cup. This Manchester City team, I think, just too strong for us in the end. Kevin De Bruyne, I think, got 2 assists and a goal. He played immense. Haaland got a goal. The usual suspects up to no good again as Man City stop us from winning our first trophy in this 10-year Tottenham trophy rebuild. Following on from the disappointment of the final, at the start of the month we were flying, beating Forest 1-0, moving on to Leicester at the King Power Stadium, winning 3-2 with Samare getting a 96th minute goal that turned out to be irrelevant. In the first game against City away we lose 2-0, which was a sign of things to come, but we did indeed beat Brentford in the league with a 96th minute winner from Heung-min Son, and as you've just watched, the disappointment in the final of losing 4-2, De Bruyne, Haaland, the De Bruyne show was well and truly on, but we do bounce back in the Premier League with a 2-1 win against Leeds with Mateta Arteta side getting man of the match, maybe making up for his recent tragic performance. And leading on from that disappointing loss in February, boys, we have got such an important month coming up in March. We've got Newcastle sporting over 2 legs in the next round of the Europa League. We've also got Man United. We have got some very important fixtures. Let's see how we can get on and see if we can go unbeaten in this month as well. As you've just seen, boys, we did beat Sporting 6-4 in aggregate, but let's talk about the other results. Starting off, boys, of course, as you've seen, Brennan Johnson was on fire against Newcastle, winning 2-1. And after the first Sporting leg, we did beat Bournemouth 2-1, coming back from 1-0 down in the 84th minute. Solanke and Son with the goals. We unfortunately do crash out of the FA Cup, though, in the quarter-finals to Liverpool. Jota with a 96th minute goal in extra time. A tough one to take, but now we can use all our momentum for the Europa League and Premier League. And to end the month, we got absolutely dominated at Old Trafford. 3-0, the best team in England have beaten us.
Lionel Messi, no, it's got away.
Xerxes with 2 goals as well, which some of you might find funny. We've got to ignore that result now, and we've got to have a strong April where we look to take on Eintracht Frankfurt in the quarterfinals of the Europa League as well. A few big games as well with Everton away, Arsenal at home. Let's see what the month of April has for us. Also, boys, in March, if we remember back in December, we had a 5-star intake. Let's look at some of our intake and see how good the talent is. First off, we've got Benjamin Asowu coming in here, 15 years old, got a bit of pace, good dribbling, good flair. We'll be signing him. Now, apparently the star graduate is the playmaker Beardsley in midfield. If we have a look at Beardsley here, 15 decisions, 13 passing to start off with, good vision, good technique, good heading, good balance. He's both footed. This man looks incredible. I'm going to be excited to track his progress over this rebuild. Another top talent is Ryan Blackman, a pacey right winger. He's 5'5". His physicals are amazing for just 15 years old. The technicals and mentals need work, but he could be moulded into a great player. We're going to go through and sign all of these youth graduates. A 5-star intake in the first season. You can't knock that. To start off the month of March, we had a difficult fixture against Newcastle, but thankfully Brennan Johnson was in and around the goals. A brilliant double from the right winger secured us a 2-1 win to take us on into a very, very tough run of fixtures. Now to start the month of April, going on from the Sporting winning the Europa League, we're looking to be positive, but again we are dropping points with Porro getting a red card in the 36th minute in a game where we dominated, drawing 2-2, and Raul Jimenez getting an 86th minute equaliser to share the points between Tottenham and Fulham. But in more positive news, we won 3-1 in the first leg of the Europa League quarter-final away to Frankfurt, with Maddison getting 2 and Solanke scoring a penalty. But the real question is, Bottle Spur, can they hold on at home? Now, of course, we were 3-1 up, starting the tie, but in the 7th minute, Christensen gets the ball and Amin Guri throws a cheeky elbow and the ref sends him off within 8 minutes. And things from here on out only get worse, being 3-1 up with 10 men. Chaby comes in, Leif Davis deflection, and own goal makes it 3-2 on the day on aggregate. Chan Uzun also going out wide to Dina Abime, and Frankfurt score again. But fortunately, on the day, we had our talisman up top, Solanke, who goes through and smashes one in for Tottenham Hotspur to restore that lead. Pedro now into Pavlovic, who bangs one in on the edge of the box to give Tottenham a second goal. And thankfully, them 2 goals were enough to secure us a 5-3 win on aggregate in a game that Frankfurt dominated. And throughout the rest of the month, we had some good results as well. Drawing with Everton away 1-1, picking up a crucial point before we took on Arsenal and won 1-0 in the derby. And ending the month was an away visit to Ipswich, where Solanke secured us the points with a penalty in the 86th minute. And now it is the month of May, boys, and we have drew Man United in the Europa League semi-final. The first leg will be played at Old Trafford, the second at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Lazio and Lyon wait up for us in the other semi-final. Can we make it to a European final in our first season? We also have games at home to Wolves in the Premier League, away to Brighton, and at home to Aston Villa. If we look at the league table at this point, we sit in 5th, 4 points off top 4. Of course, we know we were knocked out in the quarter-final by Liverpool in the FA Cup and unfortunately runners-up in the Carabao Cup. A top 4 finish and a Europa League final, I think, would be absolutely brilliant for this team. Let's see what we can do in this final month of May. Now, we all know how important this Europa League semi-final is to us, and Tottenham Hotspur at Man United won 1-0 on the day through a Pedro Porro goal. Son is taking the free kick into Sarr into Porro. It's a brilliant set-piece routine that gives Tottenham a 1-0 lead going back to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And for Tottenham fans, this was a day of absolute elation as Tottenham Hotspur beat Man United 3-1 in the second leg to win 4-1 on aggregate and send them to a Europa League final. And to ease the pressure, a player who has been amazing in the big games has been Brennan Johnson, who gets in front of his fullback to make it 1-0 in the second leg. And all the way into the 76th minute is where the next goal comes as Richarlison picks the ball up, comes inside and finds that bottom corner. United were showing signs of a fight back, being 3-0 down though, as Garnacho finds himself in plenty of room and slots it away to make it 3-1. But in the 86th minute, boys, we put the nail in the coffin as Arda Güler picks the ball up, finds lots of space, and an unstoppable strike sends Tottenham into the Europa League final. As you have just seen, boys, we are in a Europa League final, but unfortunately for us, our Premier League division form was terrible, losing 1-0 to Wolves away with a João Gomez goal. We then went to Brighton again, losing 1-0 away, not being able to find the back of the net. And then the final Premier League game of the season at home to Aston Villa. Aston Villa's beat us 2-1 with a Jacob Ramsey brace. But all of our eyes right now are on this Europa League final. Lazio versus Tottenham. It is going to be a huge game. Let's show you the team selection. Okay, boys, now to start our Europa League final, we have got some injury problems. Dominic Solanke, our top scorer with 22 goals in 40, will be injured for the final. Same with our playmaker, James Maddison, our captain, another 9-day injury, suffering a sports hernia. And Amin Guri, our left winger who's come in, is also suspended for the next match, but he has only scored 3 goals in 22 games. What a terrible performance that's been. So as we take them 3 players out, 3 players come in. Son is going to play up front with Richarlison off that left and Güler in the number 10. We're going to bring Kulusevski back in on that right. As you can see, there is some fitness worries within the team. Udogie's looking tired, Kulusevski tired, Porro tired, but this is a final we need to win. Let's get into this game, lads. Another chance at a trophy in the first season. Europa League final against Lazio. Let's do this. Now, of course, boys, we have lost a final previously. Lazio line up with Castellanos, Pedro, Zaccagnini, Ravella, Guendouzi, Lazzari, Pellegrini, Rognali, Giller. It's a strong Italian team, but really here, the Tottenham Hotspur team have to be favourites. We have got to play like favourites in this game. Let's see if we can win our first piece of silverware with Tottenham Hotspur in this Europa League final. Let's go, boys. Here we go, boys. The first highlight of the final. Güler in the middle, into Son. Porro with that overlapping run from right back. He's done it all season. It's a great save from Providel. Pedro now on the corner. Romagnoli heads home. There's a VAR check going on, but it is embarrassing to go 1-0 down to Lazio here. It's in Tottenham's DNA where they can't win trophies. I am going to be the man to change it, but in these big games, we're always going 1-0 down. Tati on a free kick, whips it in. A player has gone down in the box and it might be a penalty to Lazio. These rarely get overturned on Football Manager, and it is a penalty awarded for Cario. You've got to keep us in this game. Pedro is the man to step up. And Pedro converts, the experience converts. We are now 2-0 down in the first half to Lazio in a Europa League run where we've beat Sporting, Man United. Lazio are looking to be our downfall. Pedro slotting it bottom left. What is going on here? Udogie now in the 38th minute. Can we get a goal back before half time to give us hope going into the dressing room? Van der Ven. Out wide to Udogie. Gets down that line, whips it in. Son! And we go into the half-time 2-0 down. Lazio deservedly ahead in this game. It's a mountain to climb for Tottenham, but can we break the curse? We are going to bring on Dumfries at right back for Porro on a 6.3. Kulusevski also looks tired in that midfield, so we are going to bring on Brennan Johnson. We're going to move Van der Ven to left back for a tired Udogie and bring on Dragusin. They do say set pieces win you big games, and so far Lazio 2 goals off a free kick and a corner. We need to win this ball back, show a bit of fight. Zaccagnini now, a great 1-2 with Ravella. And I tell you what, boys, this Lazio performance is a masterclass. We are 3-0 down. Arda Güler on the free kick, dinks one in. Nothing comes of it again. Just sums up the performance, really. Just lacklustre all over the pitch. Güler, Johnson's in. Johnson does pull a goal back. An instant reply to make it 3-1. We are going to go attacking now, boys. We have got to throw men forward. Get players getting forward. We are going to bring on Bentancur. And we're also going to bring on Pavlovic in that midfield. Fresh legs to try and win that ball back as we go very attacking. It is a free kick now. Arda Güler in the 78th minute. What can he do? Deflection. Corner ball. Pavlovic now whips it in. Nobody at that front post is getting up. Johnson now. Güler! It is 3-2. Could the impossible be possible? Into Brennan Johnson. Into Bentancur. Richarlison's in. Van der Ven picks up the loose pieces. Son! Richarlison! Can he finish? What a save. In episode 1 of this Tottenham Trophy Challenge, we have bottled 2 cup finals. A 3-2 loss to Lazio and a 4-2 loss to Man City. Lazio lift the Europa League. Now, of course, you can say this Tottenham team is known for bottling, but in a game against Lazio, in a one-off game, I would expect this team to win. The Tottenham curse lives on. But to end the season, let's talk about the goals. As Solanke was our top scorer with 22, Maddison with 16, Johnson with 15, Young-Min Son with a terrible season with 9 goals in 35. Kulusevski also a little disappointed with 7 and 9 in 28 games. We talk about assists though. Porro with 19 and Udogie with 13 from fullback is brilliant. I think next season's transfers, boys, you're going to see a lot of attacking transfers to help bring goals into this team. I highlight one down here as well. Amin Gurriu coming in January with 3 goals and 1 assist in 22. That is absolutely horrific from a man of this quality. To round up the end of this season, we finish 6th in the league, getting Europa League again next season. We lose to Lazio in the final. We lose in a quarter-final to Liverpool and a Carabao Cup runners up to Man City. We need to break this curse of Tottenham Hotspur of bottling big games. I'll see you all in episode 2, where hopefully we can change that curse into a blessing.